Welcome. In this video, we're going to be looking at modeling with linear equations. So anytime we have some sort of modeling problem, the very first thing we should be doing is defining our variable, figure out what is changing or what things, could be more than one variable, are changing in our situation, and then write an equation or inequality. Today, we're going to be focused on those equations, and finally solve the problem. So if we are looking at a situation here, our goal here is to dissect what's happening, figure out how we can use math to model, specifically use algebra to model that situation. So there might be ways that you can solve this without writing an equation, but that's not the skill we're practicing here. We're practicing taking that real life situation and putting it into an algebraic equation to help us solve it. So here, this first one, we have a house painting company charges $376 plus $12 an hour. Another company charges $280 plus $15 an hour. How long is a job where both companies charge the same amount? And how much does the job pay? So taking a second to think about what's happening and what we're looking for along with defining that variable is really helpful. So what is the thing that's variable here as far as where we're looking for how long is a job where both companies charge the same amount? So we're looking for really how long is the job. Another thing that we can look out here is any rates that can help us to find our variable. It's $12 per hour. So this cost here is changing depending on the number of hours. So our variable, I'm going to use X here. You could use whatever variable you want to, is the number of hours. So when you're writing those variables, excuse me, the more specific you are, the more helpful it is when you're writing your equation. So now that we have our variable, let's think about what's happening here. We have two different companies and we want to know when they charge the same amount. So our goal really is for company one to be equal to company two. Okay, and this is a step you don't really have to write out, but thinking about it is really helpful. So for company one, they charge $376 plus $12 per hour. Anytime we have this rate here, that's something that's going to be changing. So that 376 is constant plus $12 for each hour. So to figure out that cost, we're going to take the 12 times the number of hours, which is our X. So that's company one. We have $376 plus that additional $12 per hour. If you're not sure about this part, pick some hours, plug it in, see what you're doing. Every time you're taking that 12 and you're multiplying it by the number of hours and adding that to the 376. Okay, we want that to be equal to company two. Company two charges $280. That's a constant. You have to pay that no matter what. Plus $15 per hour. So 15x. Okay, so this is the cost for company one. This is the cost for company two. We want to know when are those costs the same. So 376 plus 12x equals 280 plus 15x. So our goal here then is to get x by itself. So make sure we're keeping a nice balanced equation. Subtract 12 from both sides of your equation. I'm going to put it right with my like terms there. So over here we're left with 376. I forgot my 7. Is equal to 280 plus 3x. Get your x's isolated. Subtract 280. 376 minus 280, we're going to end up with 94 equals 3x. Okay, so we're getting close. Again, our goal is to get that variable by itself, and then we're going to put it back in terms of, wow, that's not right. 96, 376, not 374. 376 minus 280 is 96 equals 3x, which will give us a much nicer number. Divide by 3, not sure where I got that 4. So x is going to be equal to, if we take 96 divided by 3, 32. Okay, and then we want to make sure we're answering the question. So once we've solved the problem, there's really a step 4 here, and we're going to put the answer in context. So what does it mean in the context of this situation here? So for this here, we're asked two questions. One, how long is a job where both companies charge the same amount? Well, we just found X is 32 and X is the number of hours. So it takes 32 hours for them to cost the same amount. Okay, but then we're asked, how much does the job pay? How do we figure that out? Well, here's pay for company one, here's pay for company two. If they're the same, it shouldn't matter which one we use. You can plug that 32 back into either side. Okay, and figure out what that is. So if we take 280 plus 15 times 32, we get 760. Okay, just for good measure, it's $760. If I plugged it into the other side, 376 is a good way to check our answer, plus 12 times 32, we get 760 as well. It should be the same either way. Okay, so we answered two questions. One, how long does it take? It takes 32 hours. And how much does a job pay? It pays $760. Okay, let's try another one here. The length of a rectangle is 7 more than 4 times the width. Ooh, that sounds an awful lot like our deciphering what things mean. The perimeter is 84 inches. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. Okay, so we actually don't know two things here. The dimensions of the rectangle, we want to find the length and the width. Okay, we have to know some other things here in advance too. If I'm looking at a rectangle, how we find the perimeter is we have 2 lengths plus 2 widths. Okay, so we're going to use that information. And we know the length of the rectangle, we define that as L, is 7 more than, so we're going to add 7 to something, 4 times the width. So the length of the rectangle is 7 more than 4 times the width. And we know the perimeter is 84. So let's see if we can put this all together. I know the perimeter, let's get some highlighters here. The perimeter is 84. So in place of that perimeter there, I can substitute in 84. And I know L, the length here is 4W plus 7. So instead of L here, I can put in 4W plus 7. Make sure we're multiplying that 2 times the whole thing. So 2 times 4W plus 7, that's my 2 lengths, this part right there, plus 2 widths is equal to 84. Okay, our goal here is now we have an equation with one variable. So we can solve that equation in one variable. Let's find the width. And then we can use our length equation to find the length there as well. So if we distribute here, we get 8W plus 14. Make sure you distribute that, plus 2W equals 84. I'm not solving yet. I'm just simplifying. I'm doing everything I can over here. 8W and 2W more, that's 10W. Those are like terms, equals 84. Okay, now we've done all of our simplifying. Now we're solving. Do things to both sides of the equation. I'm trying to get W by itself. So subtract 14. We get 70 equals 10W. Divide by 10. We get W equals 7. So our width is 7. 7 what? 7 inches. Okay, but we're not done because we want the dimensions. So we want to find both dimensions. So we're going to take this 7 inches back up here and put 4 times 7 plus 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Plus 7 is 35. So the length is 35 inches. Okay, we can take a look at checking this just like we checked the other. If I know that my perimeter is 84, that means both of my lengths, 35 plus 35 plus both of my widths, should be 84. If it's not, something went wrong. Okay, so great to check your answers there. Okay, Last one, we're going to look at some integers and consecutive numbers. Consecutive means that happens one after each other. So if you have consecutive integers, you're looking at 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are all consecutive integers, one after the other. Consecutive even or odd, you're looking at just the evens or just the odds. So 2, 4, 6, 8, or 27, 29, 31. Okay, so if we're looking at consecutive integers, how we get from one integer to the next is we just add 1. So if I have consecutive integers and I start with 1 is x, the next one is 1 more than x. The one after that is 1 more than x, so x plus 1 or x plus 2. The next one is 1 more than that, x plus 3, and so on. So if we had 5 consecutive integers, we'd start with x plus 1, x plus 2, x plus 3, and x plus 4. That would give us 5 consecutive integers. Okay, consecutive even or odd, we actually treat the same, because if you think, how do I get from 2 to 4? You add 2. How do I get from 7 to 9? You also add 2. So wherever we start to get the next odd or the next even consecutive integer, we just add 2, then add 2 to that, add 2 to that, and so on. So we're adding 2 each time. So if I'm looking for 3 consecutive even integers, they're going to be x, x plus 2, and x plus 4. 4 consecutive odd integers, x, x plus 2, x plus 6, 4, x plus 6. And we could keep going. If we wanted 10 consecutive even integers, we'd take x and x plus 2, add 2 each time. Okay, so let's look at a problem with this. We have Stan, Mark, and Wayne's ages are consecutive whole numbers. So there were consecutive. It says whole numbers. Okay, whole numbers are integers. In the same boat. Stan is the youngest, and Wayne is the oldest. The sum of their ages is 111. So sum, we're adding their ages. We want to find their ages. So we're going to make Stan x. We're going to add Mark's age. Well, Mark is the next consecutive whole number, so he is x plus 1. Add, because we're finding the sum, Wayne's age. Well, Wayne is the next consecutive integer, so he is x plus 2. Okay, if you're not sure about it, think about it with some numbers. If Stan was 2, then Mark is 2 plus 1, which is 3, and Wayne is 2 plus 2, which is 4. They'd be 2, 3, and 4 years old. They're not, because their sum is 111. Okay, these parentheses are just helping me see that this is Stan, this is Mark, this is Wayne, but there's nothing I can actually do in there, so we can drop our parentheses to simplify. Minor like terms, x, 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 3x. 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, now that we've simplified, now we can move into solving. So now we're looking at both sides of the equation. We're using our properties of equality. 3x equals 108. Divide by 3, divide by 3. We get x is 108 divided by 3, just 36. Okay, so we end up with that x is 36. What does that mean? Well, x is the youngest person here. So that means Stan is 36 years old. Mark is the next consecutive integer, so he's 37 years old. Wayne is the next consecutive integer, so he's 38 years old. If you're not sure, go back and check it. It should be 36 plus 37 plus 38. The sum of their ages should be 111, and it is. So Stan's 36, Mark's 37, and Wayne is 38. Okay, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching.